Get into Anaconda this Christmas and save on a huge range of fishing gear. Shimano Sienna Quickfire Spin Combo, now $99. Berkeley Fishing Tool Bucket, only $29.99. Play more and pay less with our 10% price beat guarantee. Conditions apply. Anaconda!
Well, Australian football made a groundbreaking announcement yesterday. They're rebranding the A-League, W-League and Youth Leagues all under the one A-Leagues banner as a united identity for the Australian professional leagues. Danny Townsend, Managing Director of the A-Leagues, is online. Danny, how long's this been in the pipeline, and thanks for joining us?
Well, thanks, Tim. Yeah, look, it's been a lot of work. You know, when we took over from the FA in January of this year, we really wanted to signal change on many levels. And this is just one area, but an important one that we felt needed attention. And when we did the research on the history of the A-League name and how it came about, it stood for Australia, it stood for A-grade, the pinnacle of Australian football. That made sense. And then we looked at the genesis of the W-League and went, well, how did they work that name out? Well, that was simply W. First letter of woman. So we thought that's not right. We need to tidy that up. We need to make sure that, you know, we're going to get in and promote the women's game as the elite. It needs to also have those the ability to connect with the letter A and all that it stands for. So we've done that, and I think the feedback's been overwhelmingly positive.
Did you look at other sports before you sort of went into this, like the WBBL, also the WNBL, the WNBA, and other soccer codes around the world, football codes around the world? I mean, before you sort of thought this is a good idea to change it, did you sort of seek counsel from other sports and have a look at how they operated?
No, we didn't actually. We were really focused on our own game, and we've got a huge, powerful base of the pyramid in football that we need to unlock and connect to our professional game, and very opinionated. You know, the football fans are always quick to provide opinions. So we did a lot of work in sort of researching our fans, our members, our players, our coaches on what they felt, and it was overwhelming that they wanted that equality, and we've gone and delivered that. So no, it didn't really take too much attention of what everyone else was doing. Okay,
and I'm sure you've had a reaction to this, whether it be through your social media channels, whether it be sort of headline making or whether it's been fallout through the industry. What sort of reaction have you had so far?
Yeah, like I said, it's been overwhelmingly positive. I think there are some traditional W League fans that, like anyone, when you have change, go, well, hang on, what does that mean? We're extinguishing the history of the W League? Or is the dub, as it was sort of affectionately known, gone? Absolutely not. You know, this is about evolution and moving the gender equality further up the agenda of society, and football should be a leader in that. We have a lot of influence over people by virtue of our clubs and our players and our league itself, and we wanted to take that leadership position. And I think, you know, once it gets explained and people better understand the rationale, you know, we really see a positive change afoot.
Danny Townsend is our guest on Dwayne's World, Managing Director of the A-Leagues, after yesterday's big announcement that, of course, it no longer the W League, of course, and the Youth League and the men's competition all coming under the A-Leagues banner, which many believe is a positive step. Danny, you obviously feel it's an important step in the equality of the sport.
Yeah, definitely. You know, we see one of the real benefits of our code is that we are genuinely gender agnostic. You know, the number of female players playing the game is exploding. We've got an amazing Women's World Cup coming to Australia in 2023, and we've got, you know, probably the most loved Australian national team in the Matildas. So football has a huge tailwind behind it as it relates to the female game, and we thought it was timely, out ahead of that World Cup, to make these changes. We've added the club championship, which is a huge announcement, in my opinion, that really puts the value of 3 points in the women's league on equal footing to 3 points on the men's league, and we'll be in search of crowning Australia's best professional football club, not the best team in either men's or women's competitions. So we were expanding the W League as well. So look, there's a lot of other things that we can do. You know, I think rebranding is probably the easiest thing to do. Actually backing that up with meaningful change is what's going to determine how successful we are.
Yeah, some would argue this could make the Women's League and the Youth League sort of less visible because of the lack of distinction to that of the Men's League, which has traditionally attracted more attention, of course, and been a powerful competition for a long time. Is that something that's been considered in how this is going to be applied practically?
Yeah, absolutely it is. I think that's something that we spent probably the most amount of time on, really, was ensuring that wasn't going to happen. And you'll see by the way we manage our communications and the marketing and distribution of content will be very much aligned with ensuring that they all have their own identity and they all have the ability to flourish under that overarching banner. But yeah, definitely something we're cognizant of. You also think about how the commercial side of things play out, and having naming rights partners that we'll announce for each of those leagues will often define the gender of the players playing. You know, if it's in situ, I don't need to define men's or women's if it's on the shirt of a player, because you can see that. It's probably really only in editorial and copy where you really need to make that distinction. So all that work's been done, and we'll carefully manage that as we roll this out.
For what it's worth, do you think any other leagues around the country may look at this and follow suit? I know that goes back to my original comment in regards to other competitions and so to speak, but do you care if they do or don't, or would you like to be sort of set the tone for equality across all codes and across all sports?
Yeah, look, my personal opinion is they should. They should at least explore it, and I'm sure they all have. You know, these other major competitions are run by smart people. They'd be thinking these things through and trying to pick the right time to make effective change in every part of their business, and this is just one of them. But I think you just can't ignore the importance of gender equality in the social agenda of young Australians, particularly as sort of Generation Z come through who are really passionate about these social causes. And I think this is something for us that, you know, we saw as something we wanted to get out ahead of. And I'd be surprised if I don't see others gradually change in the same direction.
Let's turn our attention to a couple of other of the issues in the A-Leagues. Danny Townsend, Managing Director, is online. Of course, we're still in this COVID-crazy world and the AFL season is over. Still got a few domestic AFL competitions to play out, where cricket is sort of trying to get its ball rolling. Where are you at in regards to your upcoming season, and how is it going to be impacted by COVID at this stage? When's the start date, and how's it going to look if you were to put down a floor plan right now?
You're right. The old pandemic has been a sports administrator's nightmare. I think there'll be the grey hairs on our heads will be testament to the last 2 years of COVID-interrupted sports administration. But look, you probably will have seen, we announced last week that we were pushing the season start date back to the 19th of November, which, you know, the rationale behind that was simply that we want to make sure that our fans and our members can get in stadiums. You know, our game is, what's so great about our game is the passion and the noise and the vibrancy of match day, and having no fans in stands is just not something we wanted to relaunch a new partnership with Network 10 with. So we've pushed that back, and we're confident there'll be fans in stands by then. And equally, it's movement of players around the country. You know, these continually changing border scenarios aren't helpful for us, and provide a huge amount of complexity in delivering a national competition. But we feel we've got a plan around that, and we've got the first 6 weeks of the competition mapped out that can go ahead today. There's no issues with those things happening. So we're confident that will get us to Christmas, and then as we hit into the new year, we're pretty confident, based on feedback from governments, that we'll start to see that freedom of passage back and us back to life as we knew it.
Yeah, hubs and bubbles, are they part of what could be the first 6 weeks at least?
Yeah, absolutely. We're sort of looking at the way it plays out. We've looked at sort of 2 conference-style setups where we've got a New South Wales-based conference, which already has 5 teams in it. We'll likely bring Wellington into there. And then you've got your 3 Victorian-based clubs, and then we'll have Adelaide, Perth and Brisbane sort of hub around the Victorian stadia. So that'll get us through the first 6 weeks, and then by then we want to get everyone home for Christmas and restart again shortly after that.
Danny, how do you get more fans to the women's game? I mean, the stands look a little stark at times, and it's, you know, a very powerful competition at its very best. Not all the girls play for the Matildas, of course, but there is those who have played in our domestic competition. How can you attract fans to the women's competition?
Yeah, look, you can't just flick a switch and suddenly expect fans to turn up. You've got to change behaviour, and you've got to build, attachment from the young footballs that play the game. You know, I don't need to go searching for new fans for football. There's more football fans in this country than any other code. The problem is they just don't attach themselves to the Australian domestic competition. They'll be a Premier League fan or a La Liga fan, and we need to convert them over, and that's key to our strategy. And you'll see more about that in the next month when we launch our digital platform. But fundamentally for us, it's about getting effective change happening that will start to get these young aspiring female footballers to get their parents to take them along to football matches. I'm not going to convert a 50-year-old AFL fan to do that. I'm going to get his daughter to say, Dad, I want to go and watch Melbourne Victory play in the A-Leagues women. And that's the stuff that starts to change. And that's all about connection. And that's going to be the focus for us in converting those fans across and filling the stadiums.
Danny Townsend, our guest. Last one for you, Dan. You talked to me about the 10 Paramount deal, which is fantastic for the competition here. Will the A-League's women be a part of that? How much exposure, TV exposure, will they get?
Yeah, absolutely. One of the key tenets of that deal, and in partnership with Channel 10 and Paramount Plus, was ensuring that for the first time W League would get on commercial free-to-air network, which they've done. So there'll be a match of the round on 10 Bold every Sunday afternoon. And every other match will be covered by Paramount Plus. So, the quality of the coverage will be on par with the men. The opportunities to view the A-League's women will be the same as the A-League men. So, that was a really important part of the deal we did with them, and really leans in and connects to the strategy that Network 10 have. It's about being, a progressive, diverse and inclusive network. So there was sort of a real good culture fit there as well.
I read with interest today that 10 Bold's gone HD, which would be fantastic because
it has.
Nothing worse than watching sport in standard definition, so you get a bit of HD action on Bold now for the football.
Absolutely.
Danny, appreciate your time. I know there's a lot happening there, and you've shaped the A-Leagues with that announcement yesterday. It's been well received. It's now fingers crossed that you can get the competition up and started at a date to be absolutely locked away, confirmed. People back to games, TV viewing habits up and around through the 10 Paramount Plus deal. Appreciate your time. All the very best for the season ahead. And thanks for joining us on Dwayne's World.
Pleasure. Good man. Thanks, Tim.
Good on you. Danny Townsend, Managing Director of the A-Leagues. Managing Director, thanks to Hyundai Forklift service and support that only an independent dealer can provide.
At E&S, we're proud to stock Westinghouse ovens, cooktops, fridges and dishwashers, and our staff are Westinghouse experts. And we won't be beaten on price. So visit one of our 9 showrooms today or shop online and get the E&S feeling with Westinghouse.